So, hello, Endri. How are you? And welcome to the Endeavor
Hello, good.
Podcast.
How are you?
Doing excellent, and better
Thank
now
you.
that I'm going to be talking to you for the next minute. Hopefully, having an awesome conversation. There's so much to unpack here.
Amazing.
Okay, well, let's jump into
Looking
it.
forward to it.
Great.
Yep.
So let's get started. Like, tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? I know you have an interesting just relocated to different parts of the world. So tell us a little bit
Yep.
about that journey and a little bit about the
Yep.
your career. You're back in the day before you became an entrepreneur. Talk a little bit about that and let us know who is Endri.
Sure. Yeah, so I was born in Albania and I grew up there until I was about 14 years old. And then we moved to the US after communism fell. In 1995, we moved to Boston. Um, it was a very interesting switch going from a communist country to a free country. It was amazing. And, entrepreneurship always ran through my family. My parents were both entrepreneurs. So when I came to this country, I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur as well. So, in my early days when I was in college, I actually started a DJing company, going from college to college and throwing parties and making some money on the side while I was going to college. So that was kind of my first foray into entrepreneurship. And then after I graduated, I actually joined a startup during the dot-com bust, where we actually created a number of companies, mainly marketplaces as well as selling products online. But these were the early days of the internet. But that's where I really cut my teeth in entrepreneurship, where I learned a lot about product development, marketing, and so on. And after I did about 2 years there, I decided to, I needed a little bit more structure. So I decided to join Fidelity Investments as a product manager and really worked on building a lot of warehouses and data intelligence products for their finance department. But even when I was there, I still had the entrepreneurship itch. So I actually started a, a website where we were selling airplane models. We were importing them from Brazil and China and selling it to different. We were selling them online. We even sold our first major deal was with JetBlue when they were still a little startup. So,
The models, the small
um,
models you can put like on top of tables, like those airplane models.
correct,
Oh wow.
correct, correct. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And even though that company failed eventually, I really learned a lot about, how do you market online? How do you build a product? How do you build a website? And really building a full on business. Um,
Okay.
and then, I continued to, be very interested in startups and so on. And then
Okay,
we
so
started YouVisit.
there you go. You both have your parents as entrepreneurs, your journey, you had the entrepreneurial bug, but also it's in your DNA. And then you meet
Yep.
Abby and Tahir. Tell me about that
Yep.
story. When did you meet? Where did you meet? And how did you all come about to bring YouVisit into life, your venture?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. I actually met Tar the first day at school. I opened my door in my dorm room and there is Tar.
Oh,
Um, and and then Avi was living really right across from us. And we hit it off from the first day that we met. And, a lot of times we think that this was chance, but somehow I believe in the higher powers of the universe that put us all in the same place together. And from that moment on, we were great friends. We've shared a lot of lifetime experiences. We literally took 90% of our classes together because we all did computer science and economics, and literally went to every single class together.
So
And
four
ever
years
since
you
then,
were glued. You were glued for 4 years.
we were glued. We lived together. We worked on a lot of projects at school, so we knew we would be very good at working together. And we knew that at some point down the line, we always wanted to work together. Um, and I
Okay.
think that selecting your business partners is very critical, and that everybody's on the same page. And we knew each other, and even when we had things that we disagreed on, we were friends first and business partners second. So we really rarely had any disagreements, but even when we did, we were able to solve those pretty easily. So
Excellent. Okay, so now tell us how did the idea of YouVisit come into, your heads, and what is YouVisit?
yeah, so YouVisit was a company that we thought about because we were all international students and we never really had a chance to, do a lot of the campus visits that other students do here in the US. So our experience in searching for colleges was very subpar, and you would go online and see a few pictures that were tiny and you couldn't really tell the culture of the university and so on. So, you know, we thought there's got to be a better way of doing it. And even after we graduated, honestly, even the technology improved a lot. Really, the experience didn't change. So we said, you know what? We have a vision. Why don't we create the most engaging, interactive platform online where students can learn about colleges and universities to make a more informed decision where they want to go? And that's how it all started. It started from that vision that we had. And the early days were a lot of fun. We were coding every night, even during weekdays at 4 a.m. I know I could call either Avi or Tar and they would pick up. And then at 7 we had to go to work. So, it was a fun time. It was a really, really fun time. Um, it really took us about 2 to 3 years until we said, you know what, there are legs here. It took a while, and it was very rocky early on, but you know, through a lot of hard work and a good amount of luck, we became the leading engagement platform for top universities around the world. And then from there, we actually expanding into serving the tourism industry and even high tech companies. So by the time that we were acquired, we had clients that included Microsoft, Hewlett Packard, Cisco, Carnival, and then top universities around the world, Princeton, Columbia, even the U.S. Air Force worked with us. So, it came from our vision, but then we expanded into all these other businesses as well.
And so anyone who wanted to do like a tour of the university or any space, you would create that simulation through video.
Correct. Correct. So our goal was, how do we create the most genuine experience that somebody would have if they visit the campus? So what we created is, through a lot of interactive media and our platform, we put together stories of, hey, here's what it's like to be a student in our university, or this is what it's like to, visit our city, or this is what it's like to work at our company. So we had tour guides, we had students as tour guides, we showcased all the different areas of the building. We really try to capture the culture of the universities or of the company that we work with.
So it's pretty innovative, because back then, I mean, if you're across the world, you want to go and visit a university, you can't really,
Totally.
you have to, like, it's expensive. So a lot of these students using your technology were able to save money, but also get a sense of, how is the university, or how are the spaces, so I can make a decision on where to go. So very powerful. I think that is great, and you guys thought about that very early on. And I know
Yeah.
the three of you ended in Miami, but tell me, how did you choose, this city to continue growing YouVisit?
Yeah. And honestly, initially, Avi was the first one that lived in Miami and he was trying to convince us to move there. However, I was in business school at the time in New York, and then Tara lived in New York. And we're talking 2009, 2010. And to be honest, the tech talent in Miami wasn't great.
No.
And as we considered moving to Miami, we're like, we can't find talent. And honestly, I must give Endeavor a lot of credit because that was once you guys got established in Miami, you really started to build the tech ecosystem there. So over the years, we established an office in Miami as well and started to hire local talent. But honestly, it's all thanks to Endeavor because in the early days, the tech talent just wasn't there. So, you guys have built an incredible support system for entrepreneurs and have attracted a lot of talent, which, it's great to see because in the early days, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have moved, into the city. We still have a talent gap, but I think a lot of stakeholders and partners are
Yeah.
working on that to improve that access to talent. But tell me a little bit about the journey when you joined Endeavor, which was back in 2017. The
Yeah.
three of you became Endeavor entrepreneurs, and then you were acquired in 2000. I think it was
19,
so it was
2019. Yeah.
yeah, you were here for like 3 years. How did it ever add value to YouVisit
Yeah.
and to you guys?
And we had met one of the managing directors in 2016, and she really was telling us, "Hey, you guys have to really consider Endeavor." And at the time, I personally thought, "Oh, we're doing great. We don't need another thing to
We
get
get that
involved with."
still. We get a lot of that.
Totally, totally. And I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a waste of time." And little did I know, that I mean, at the time too, we were being approached by a lot of PE firms, and we were considering whether to raise money or not. And then the more we were talking to Endeavor, we said, you know what we really need is not the money. We really need advice and from somebody that's done it before. And then that would really take us to the next level. And that's when we decided to join Endeavor. Instead of raising money, we say, you know what, we can use the Endeavor network to really help us take the company to the next level. And one of the main things that we needed as a company, we needed an advisory board. And Endeavor helped us uh, set up an advisory board of world-class people. And I remember to this day, after our first board meeting, I'm like, oh my God, how did I think that we were running the business so well before? Um, so it really like made me think about, wow, like I need to really step up my game. Because, it's one thing being an entrepreneur versus, okay, now I need to become an executive and really scale up the business. And that's a very difficult transition to make. And our Endeavor board really helped us bring the company to a whole different level, more from, and really like professionalize it a lot more than where we had it. Because in the early days, you do a million things, right? But
Yeah.
then that gets you from 0 to 1. But then if you want to continue to grow and scale it up, you really, as an entrepreneur, you really need to change and evolve.
Change
Um,
mindset and also have that self-awareness that you need different skill sets, different people around you that can give you that advice. So it's very important to take a step back and be humble and take that feedback because
yeah,
all these people are doing is donating their time to help you become a better leader.
absolutely. And I remember our first board meeting, we came in with 100-page deck. And we're like, oh, we're going to do this and that. And then our board members are like, wow, this is this is too complex, guys. Give us 2 pages, give us your P&L, and we're gonna know exactly where you're spending time. And I'm like, wow, what it really taught me is that when you're running a business, you have a million things going on, and you're in the fog of war, and you don't really know where it is that you're trying to go. And our advisory board really helped us cut through all the clutter and really focus on the things that truly mattered for growing the business. And then once I was able to get that going forward, everything else just cleared up. Because when you run the business, you're running
So
around and you're like, oh my God. I have so many things to do.
I know, and
It
every time
really like
yeah, with entrepreneurs, I tell them if you don't have time, you can get time back by speaking to people who are here to help you, other serial entrepreneurs or investors, people with experience in private equity, growing your business. So just absorbing that. Didn't you get more time back to focus on the more important things?
absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, I would have one call with our board member, and I was doing a lot of work on the finance side, and he had done finance for scale ups before. He's like, focus on these things. I'm like, oh my God, now I have to do all this research. But then when you start to learn that, I'm like, how was I running the business without this knowledge before? So like one quick 10-minute call, then it would really improve my personal the way I was personally handling the business. So and not only that, but also during our acquisition, our advisors really played an instrumental role in guiding us through the process. And we had a very successful acquisition. And, it's not just the monetary aspect, but also like finding the right acquisition partner for our employees going forward. So our Endeavor Advisor Board really helped us get there.
That's great. Oh, happy to hear about that. So tell me, how has the definition of success evolved from the beginning of your career to now? Like, how do you
Sure.
define success?
Yeah, when I think back early in my career, I was focusing a lot on personal success from, oh, I'm going to get to this school, a good school, and I'm going to get this coveted job and so on. But as I continued to grow both personally and professionally at YouVisit, my focus changed from personal success to really working and helping others succeed. And every hire we made was someone that was much better at us than us at doing that one job, but also thinking about, can this take over my role? And that's the kind of thing that eventually I realized that their success was my success. And frankly, it really helped us grow our company much, much quicker and much easier. Um, and then now as an advisor to startups and an Endeavor mentor, I really love helping others succeed in doing that as well, because I feel like their success is my success as well.
I absolutely agree. It's the collective that makes the difference. It's everyone working as a team, rowing in the same direction. You're all in the same boat, but everybody has a different mission within the boat or tasks. But I
Yep.
totally agree, it takes a village. And for an entrepreneur also to realize that it's the collective that will make the difference. It makes you a much better leader and you feel more empowered to guide your team. So talent is really important, I think, in this sense,
Absolutely.
choosing the right talent. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that journey on choosing the right talent for your business.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, I think, when I think back to what was one of the hardest jobs, it's that. It's like, how do you identify the right talent? And as you're scaling a company, a lot of times, and I see this with companies that I advise now, it's like, well, I need this person to do these 5 jobs. And it's like, and they need to be good at all of them. And that's a fallacy that you kind of, you learn the hard way because okay, you may find somebody that's okay at all the jobs, but they're not going to be great at it.
Mhm.
And you know, how do you evolve of finding the right people? And ultimately at a startup, you need self-starters. Like, can these people be entrepreneurs on their own? Because you just need them to figure out things without you telling them what to do. And that is the one thing that I've learned, even in interviewing people from like big companies that would come and not succeed. Why? Because they're used to big staff and a lot of resources and so on. And just
Budgets.
doesn't work at a startup. Right. So, it was probably one of the toughest thing is like how you find and how you grow the right talent and how do you kind of get out of their way and let them do what they're great at and figure out the big problems that you have in your company.
Yeah, so have that, people who have that critical thinking, that are problem solvers, but also that are agile, right? Because you need,
Totally.
adapt to fast pace because you're growing a company. But tell me, is there a specific moment in time that you realize the impact that you had as an individual, but
Yeah.
also, with YouVisit? Was there that
Yeah.
moment?
Yeah, the more I reflected over the last few years, the more I'm like, I think there were two critical moments when I realized what really having an impact. And I remember one time I went to visit our client at Yale University with my team, and we were shooting some photos and videos for the campus, and we were walking around with our YouVisit shirts. And there was a group of Taiwanese students that like really ran to us and like, "You visit." It's like, wait, what's happening? Like, we've seen the tour. This is the reason why we're here, visiting the campus in person, because we saw the tour on the Yale website, and then we loved it so much that we decided to take a tour all the way from Taiwan and come and visit. And over the years, that was the first time that I really thought, wow, we're really making a difference, not just like this. I'm actually meeting the users that are really having an impact. And they came to me. I didn't even know they had seen our product. And I remember even Abby one time was in Colombia and was wearing a You Visit shirt. And somebody on the elevator is like, I love You Visit. It's like, how do you know those guys? So, you really realize that, we're really impacting the lives of others. And eventually we had millions of students every year visit our interactive experiences. So we really know we were having an impact. And secondly, I try to stay in touch with a lot of our ex-employees, and every year, every other year, we try to get everybody together for the holidays.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
yeah, and unequivocally, everyone has told me that it's been the best experience of their lives. And now they've worked at multiple other companies, and they're like, look, we worked really hard, we learned a ton, and it was really fun. So everyone keeps telling me that, even folks that, I thought we didn't do a good job managing them and so on. Um, in the past years, they've all walked up to me and said, "Thank you for everything you guys have done because I've learned a lot."
Yeah, you
So
created the
it's
culture.
very exciting.
Everyone there felt the
Correct.
energy. So I am sure you touched so many lives. And perfect segue to ask about your employees. Did they become entrepreneurs themselves? Do you know if any
Yeah.
of the businesses?
Yeah, and as we were touching upon earlier, is like we put a lot of emphasis in trying to find those entrepreneurial people, whether it was in sales, engineering, or production team. And I'm actually very proud that a lot of our ex-employees have started company. We have an education company. We have a number of production companies that have started. We have a beverage company, a fintech, and Ty and I just recently launched a quantitative trading company where we use machine learning to inform equity trading strategies. So, a lot of different companies have spun out of that.
That is exactly what Endeavor talks about, the multiplier effect, right? When because founders like yourselves, you grow and scale your company, you have a successful exit, and then you start seeing the ripple effect, how your employees become entrepreneurs, you become angel investors, you yourselves become entrepreneurs once again and start a new business. You join
Yeah.
board directors, you start mentoring others. So the impact that you as a founder have is just impressive, and that is what Endeavor is trying to capture, and we're measuring what is the impact that these founders have in the lives of all these people and in the entrepreneurial ecosystem where they are. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think
Yeah.
it's super important. You
Yeah.
have a very impressive track record of paying it forward through mentorship. You're one of the mentors that have mentored the most companies. I think you have about 90 mentorship sessions in the past 3 years. So thank you, first of all. Tell me,
Absolutely.
what drives you to be a mentor? And now that you're, launching a new company with Taher, then we can talk a little bit about that new venture that you have. But let's start with this, like what drives you to give it back so much to other founders?
Yeah,
And I'm
as
sure
I
you
as I
also,
mentioned earlier.
this is just
Yeah.
endeavor. I'm sure you're mentoring your employees.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, like my definition of success has changed over the years, and I really love working with founders and helping them reach their goals and their dreams. And honestly, a lot of it came through my experience that I have with my Endeavor mentors. They helped me grow tremendously as an entrepreneur and from an entrepreneur to an executive. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wait, why were these folks so invested in my success that to this day I'm like, man, they could have been doing a million other things, but they were really invested in my success as an entrepreneur. And I want to capture that and give back to the other entrepreneurs that I work with. So I want to take a lot of the learnings that I got and really give back to the other entrepreneurs because, as I said, there was in my life as an entrepreneur, there was a moment, maybe a year or two, of just this cloud. And I didn't really know how to cut through the cloud and scaling the business and really doing work with my correct, like mental fog. Like, I don't know where I want to go. We're just doing things, but I don't we're doing things because of momentum. We're not doing things because of purpose. And, it was getting very challenging to scale. So my mentors helped me cut through a lot of that. And then everything just, oh my God, this cloud just lifted. And I know exactly where I need to go. And everything else that was just thrown my plate is like, forget about this. This is where we're going. And it was a lot easier to kind of have that plan and know how to get there. So I want to be able to do the same for other entrepreneurs as well.
Help them zoom out, look, have a bird's eye view. And, because you're in the weeds of building every day, you miss a lot of the signs of, okay, this is not a
Yeah.
priority. Let's focus. And
Right.
that's the most important, like going back to the core business and focusing on the priorities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk about your, new venture. What are you doing with Tyler?
Yeah, so we're building this machine learning algorithms that help us figure out based on some strategies for trading equities in the public markets, which stocks to trade, which ones not to trade and, and sell. So we've been working on it for the last 2 years and we finally went live. So far so good. So we're excited about it. There's still a lot of work to be done, but for now
What's
it's
the company? Or we can't know.
we we don't have a name yet. It will be soon.
Okay.
Soon. We'll let you all know.
Yeah, let us know. We can share within our, entrepreneurial network. So awesome.
Absolutely.
And beyond Endeavor and the commitment, paying it forward and helping other entrepreneurs through mentorship, can you tell us more about the role at New York Angels that you currently
Yeah.
have?
Yep. So I joined New York Angels after our acquisition to really invest in early stage founders. And we have about 150 members. We work with a lot of different companies, but I mainly focus on technology companies. So we do early stage investing, due diligence process. I've personally done over 15 companies, diligence process. And then once we invest, I work with the founders to help mentor them to, you know, think through, what are the challenges from an organizational standpoint? What are the challenges in go-to-market strategy? What are your operational and financial challenges going forward? So, and then as they're getting ready to raise their next round, I help them with introductions to other folks in my network or other VCs that we work with.
Okay. Can you share any companies that you've invested in that are particularly, meaningful to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is not an early stage investment, but I've invested in SpaceX, which is more of a growth company, and I
We know it's
really
not an early
believe,
stage one.
right, right. I had been trying to invest in the early stage, but unfortunately I couldn't. But I really believe in we're explorers, and as entrepreneurs, we're always trying to, and trying to explore, not only the current place where we are, but like explore the world. And now that, we need to explore space, and space and just astronomy have been very passionate about early on.
Okay,
So, it's a company that I'm really excited about, and I believe in the
so,
mission. And
so you like deep tech also then?
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
seen some of those here in Miami, not as many as we would love to see, but there are some building great, satellites and different components for
that's
space. So
amazing.
real
Amazing.
mentorship. Any
Yes.
key things that you feel are necessary to be a good mentor? Like, are there any, advice to other
Yeah.
mentor entrepreneurs on what's important?
Yeah. Yeah, I think number one is empathy, and really entrepreneurship could be very lonely. And having been there, you develop a lot of empathy for what other entrepreneurs are going through, and that really allows you to establish a relationship with them, and telling them, hey, I know what you're going through, and it's very hard when you're an entrepreneur for other people around you to know. Um, even your family doesn't know. Or, you explain the problems and like, I don't
They
care.
know you're going
I
crazy.
don't really... Right, exactly. So, as an entrepreneur, it's really hard if you don't have somebody that knows what you're going through. It's really hard to like express your pain, your challenges, and so on. So I think working with our entrepreneurs, like building that empathy really, really helps get through to them, and helps them open up about the challenges they're going through. And ultimately, what I try to do during my mentorship and my advising is really help them cut through the cloud of all the million things that are going on in their life, similar to what my Endeavor mentors did with me, and really like try to get to what are the levers that really are going to change your business,
Yeah.
and how do we focus on those rather than the million things that you're doing on a daily basis. So
Almost like psychologists for business.
totally. Totally. Totally.
Okay, so we're almost getting to our end, but I wanted to ask you one last question. Like,
Sure.
any one lesson that you feel is crucial for anyone aiming to, succeed, become an entrepreneur, or create an impact in this modern era?
Yeah, I think number one, find the people that you love to work with. Um, I heard this quote once, if you don't want to work with somebody for life, don't work with them for a day. So, when I think about my partners, like I will be partners with them for life in whatever else we do next. And honestly, even most of our employees, like I would work with them in a heartbeat. So I think is start with people you love hanging out with and people that you get along with. Second, I would say never give up, because there's going to be a lot of tough days, and a lot of people give up. I would say never give up. And then finally, just invest in others, because that's the only way that you can really truly build something great, is by having others that believe in your mission and, help you get there. So
I completely agree. If you invest in others, you will get impact back, and they will invest in you back. So
yeah,
there is an ROI.
correct,
You give,
correct,
get, right? It's a win-win
correct.
on both sides. You cannot just expect to get and receive, because the world doesn't work like that. So I
Absolutely.
love what you just said, and I think it's a perfect way to end this amazing conversation. Andres, thank you so much for joining our Endeavor Miami podcast. It was really a treat, and please continue to shine your light and support all these incredible entrepreneurs. I think, and I do know because I speak with the team, you've been an excellent mentor. You're always committed to them. So appreciate all the support that you give us.
Thank you, Claudia, and thank you for all you guys do for Miami and for the tech entrepreneurship and the ecosystem. So you guys are rock stars, and thank you for also having me as part of the Endeavor team.
Great. Thank you. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks at our Endeavor Summit. So looking forward
Yes, see you soon.
to you. Take care.
Bye.